Most Central Americans were from the so-called Northern Triangle, molded by El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. However, we will be focusing on the general idea of each country and will be focusing on El Salvador.
The development of gangs as a problem in Central America came after the civil conflicts in the 1980s. During these civil conflicts, many people fled to the United States. It was in Los Angeles that the two major gangs in Central America started, which was the M18 and MS-13. In a city where gangs already prevailed, it was normal for new immigrants to join or create new gangs. After the civil conflicts with Central America ended, the United States began implementing tougher legislation against gangs and immigration in 1996. Due to the new legislations, a large number of Central American youth were sent back to their countries with little more than their gang connections, and soon M18 and MS-13 developed. Gang violence, insecurity, poverty, and corruption has plagued the region, making it extremely difficult to allow for further growth and stability, which has intensified the push factor from fleeing Central America.
Between 1980 and 1990, the Salvadorian immigrant population in the United States increased about 94,000 to 465,000 due to the Civil War, draining that country of between 20 to 30% of its population. The number of Salvadoran immigrants in the United States continued to grow in the 1990s and 2000s as a result of family reunification and new arrivals fleeing a series of natural disasters that hit El Salvador, including earthquakes and hurricanes. By 2008, there were about 1.1 million El Salvadorian immigrants in the United States. More than half of all Salvadoran immigrants resided in just two states, California and Texas, although they were also concentrated in New York, Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia.
I'm from El Salvador, Santana, which is a city, but I moved to a town which is called Metapan. My mom decided to come to the United States because she was being physically abused by her parents, and she saw that she didn't have no more future in El Salvador. So she decided to pursue a better future to the U.S. and not just for her, but for me and my brother. And when we came into the U.S., which was my brother and I was 11 years old. There was some other changes. There was gangs, people getting killed. Um, Around the age that I left from El Salvador, which was 11 years old, there was a lot of kids being recruited to join the gangs, which was not a good thing. So those were some of the bad things that happened in there. And it's a really poor country, so I always thought that I didn't have no future in there to become something. My journey lasted like 3 months. We were coming through buses, trains, boat, and all of those things. And it was a really, really different experience because me being the oldest and my brother being the youngest one, I was treated like a little bit different because I was older. So my brother was treated with more like taken care of. So, and it was not a great experience coming through. Uh, yes, I do speak to my mom in Spanish because it's my first and native language, so I will never lose it ever. So and I put it to practice because majority of the people in the U.S. they speak Spanish, so it's great to always know two languages, English and Spanish. I don't practice my country's tradition anymore because I was really young when I came into the U.S. So I got so adapt to the U.S. cultures, traditions, and all of those things. I don't have a same privilege as back home. I think I get more privilege in here in the United States because it's more freedom, more secure. You can go anywhere, and you feel more safe. now back in El Salvador, you actually cannot do like half of the things that you can do in the United States. Some of the law that actually has benefited me is the DACA, which is a program for the undocumented students to help get a work permit to so you can get a job in the United States and also get access to get an ID or driver license, which is an amazing opportunity. And it's not, and also you get like a financial aid to go to schools and get a better education and be something better. I identify myself as an American, but deep inside I'm 100% Salvadorian. But 10 years of my life has been here in the United States, so I feel like the United States is my home. So this is like my home, honestly.
In his book Encyclopedia of Race, Ethnicity, and Society, Richard T. Schaefer explains that children of Central American immigrants have a greater affinity toward English. However, when looking at data from the Pew Research Center's 2013 survey, which audited people in the United States who either are Salvadoran immigrants themselves or have ancestry traced back to El Salvador, 89% of Salvadorans speak Spanish at home, and Salvadorans ages 5 and older report speaking English less than very well. Furthermore, data from the same survey reveals that only 3% of Salvadoran adults are English dominant, while 63% are Spanish dominant. The statistics show that rather than engaging in culture assimilation, people are acculturating and choose to incorporate the dominant culture while maintaining their own cultural practices, such as speaking the language of their national origin.
Early immigration policy of the 1900s included the National Origins Act of 1924 that was based on a system of national quotas that put a restriction of 150 immigrants total. This primarily put the pressure on East and South Asian immigrants, but its comparison is important because during the 1960s, the national quota method for immigration as a whole is denounced, and instead the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 is placed, which worked by assigning a cap of 170,000 issued visas per country. This did not place any restrictions on immediate family of U.S. citizens and opened the doors for more countries such as El Salvador to begin sending immigrants in higher numbers.